It's another beautiful Monday morning to begin the week with. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. To all of you out there, I'm very sure Barrister enjoyed his. Barrister, welcome.
Yes, my pleasure being here once again. I did enjoy my weekend. I had a lot of activities, but it was a wonderful weekend.
Barrister, I hope you went for Owambe during Saturday.
Oh, there was no Owambe.
There was no
Owambe. Hey, but I went for an event where I ate.
You ate food. You
yes,
sure did Owambe. Yes. Okay, to all our viewers out there, welcome. It's another beautiful Monday morning, and this is your newspaper review on Idea Television. I am Jacobs Deborah, and this is to announce the second edition of the Idea Persons of Interest. Idea Person, yes, of Interest, the IPI magazine, which was released November 1st, 2025, recognizing exceptional Africans driving innovation across science, technology, health, education, and entrepreneurship. The IPI program, created by Idea Television, celebrates individuals who are transforming the continent and innovating ecosystems, as well as inspiring the next generations of African change makers. This new edition features distinguished figures such as the Nigerian Professor Pius. We can see other people, and his wife also was also mentioned. This is a very, very beautiful edition of Idea Person of Interest. I think the Idea Persons of Interest, the ones we've been bringing out, Idea TV has been bringing out, are actually very exceptional. What they are doing is a lot. And so many people do not know about these things until they get. So this is the opportunity to grab your copy. Grab your copy now. In case you did not grab the first copy, please do well to go back and grab the copy of your Idea Person of Interest. You can also see it on our Gmail account on www.ideatv.live. Barrister, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, so it's a good one. I mean, when you are telling the world or showing people, especially in Nigeria and Africa, what other persons have achieved in terms of innovation, in terms of things they've been able to use their background, their resources, their knowledge to be able to develop or add knowledge to this world, improve the quality of our lives and all of that. So it's good for the rest of us to know about them. It will also help and motivate some of us, that we are looking for ways of how we can make our world better. So when we go through these Idea Persons of Interest, we read about their stories, we read about the challenges they faced, we read about how they were able to do what they're actually doing. You will see that it will inspire a lot of people. It will also help guide a lot of persons into how to achieve their own desired goals and desired dreams and aspirations. So it's a good one. I will just encourage people to go get their Idea Persons of Interest as well. Get the magazine, read about these persons, study them, let them imbibe some of the qualities that you think you can imbibe from them, and then and transform your world as well. Transform your world as well.
Yes. Through the Idea Persons of Interest initiative, Idea TV continues to spotlight African brightest mind, promoting research, creativity, and entrepreneurship as a key driver of the continent's progress. Like we always said, and we've been saying, and like Barrister has said, please do grab your copy so that ideas that has been kept inside you can be bettered, can be brought to life, actually. Now we're diving into our first newspaper front page, which is the Punch newspaper, where we see that 12 Nigerian governors, others official may face U.S. sanctions in page 2. We also see that coup controversy as Sylvia's brother driver still in custody. We in page 7, and we also see in page 3 that student loan applicants hit 1 million. Neflon has come out to say. And if you look above it, we see the PDP crisis, Makinde block regroups of Autumn Fayose back wiki. We also see beneath it that doctors dispute federal government's 11.9 billion naira payout strike continues in page 3. And the NDLEA arrest musician uncovers Lagos illicit drug laboratory in page 5. We also see that Diri joins APC today, cites Bayelsa interest in page 8. Now, these are beautiful stories. First of all, Barrister, I want us to dive, before we dive into the big headline, I want us to dive into this doctor dispute, federal government. You know, this was what we were saying last week when we talked about the ASU, when federal government came to give them some money and decided that, okay, people should just come out from the strike, we'll finish paid. And I think that's almost the same thing they had with the doctors. And doctors are still complaining, even as they are still complaining that this particular money you are giving to us is not enough. And the increase you are bringing, I think 13% or so increase in their salary is not enough. We want you to meet our demands, hear us, listen to us. Let's come to a term, agreeing term. Don't just give us your term and expect us to agree.
Yeah. So, like I said, we spoke last week about the teachers' own, and we said that anytime the government comes up with a proposal, the teachers will also want to come up with a counter proposal, especially if it doesn't meet their own expectations. You know, so we are looking at the doctors now, resident doctors or the health practitioners entirely, and they are saying, look, you've not met our key demands, you've not met our demands, you've not gone as far as to assuage our worries and assuage our fears and all of that. So it's left for them to renegotiate. They will need to sit down again, renegotiate, and see how they can actually come up with a solution for this. Like I've always said, if the government is willing, there will definitely be a solution. So it's about the willingness of the government to actually sit down and settle these issues on time. Nigeria's issues are still, they are not really difficult rocket science issues. It's just that we have leaders that are not really committed to us, to the development of citizens. Because if, for example, leaders both in the government and also even in the medical field, you know, the medical practitioners, they do a lot of work for us, but they also too, they should, in a way, in a sort of way, they should also see how they can help to assuage it. Because at the end of the day, it's the ordinary man that is suffering. You know, they say when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. So the head of the medical practitioners, they should also not put to when you say demands that cannot be met by government easily. You know, maybe you're asking for if you're asking for 100% increase in your salary, and maybe it's, you know, there are some demands that you make that even the citizens will say, this one is too much now. So I hope that's not the kind of demands they are making, and I also hope that the government is also willing to sit down and really renegotiate whatever agreement they had with this resident doctor, so that we can see that they go back to the hospitals and treat people, so that we don't lose human lives as a result of human error or human incapabilities. So that will just be my take on this. Hopefully it's resolved on time and soon, and well rather, so that we don't go back and forth. We don't say after a year or two again we are coming back to the same situation again.
Yes. Okay, diving to the big headline, we see that U.S. President Donald Trump has declared a NVIDIA that news is that a major diplomatic war is brewing between Nigeria and the United States as U.S. Congress considers sanctions against 12 northern governors, top judges, and traditional rulers accused of complicity in alleged religious persecution and Christian genocide under the Nigerian Sharia and blasphemy laws. This move follows a new bill that Nigerian Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025, sponsored by the Senator Ted Cruz and backed by the former U.S. President Donald Trump, who redesigned Nigeria as a country of particular concern of religious freedom violation. Trump also threatened to halt U.S. aid and even consider military actions of killing Christians if it continues. In response, Nigeria's federal government has strongly defended its constitutional commitment to religious freedom, insisting that the Sharia laws applies only to Muslims and remains subjected to constitutional oversight. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to meet with Trump in the coming days to clarify the issue and reaffirms Nigerians' contemporarism in the cooperation, and meanwhile the religious cooperation have divided, as well as CAN and others are coming out to speak for and against what Trump has said. Now, the reason why I actually wanted us to talk about this, I want to take reactions before we actually dive into the for and against. Now, for against, we see that there's a saying that Baba Trump, be careful The world is not governed under democratic leadership. We are not in the era of military dictatorship. Nigeria is a sovereign state under the international law, and the United States does not have the right to carry out military operations or invade Nigeria without approval of Nigerian's government. Now, yes, I understand your concerns about Christians in Nigeria, but why are you why are you not concerned about the Muslims also? Aren't they Nigerians too? That's one. For against what Trump said. And if we are looking at what another person said, he said it is important to consider the context of Donald Trump's recent statement on the situation in our country. Some individuals may not fully grasp this message being conveyed, but it appears that the focus is on countering terrorist activities and urging those who aligns with the perspective that reflects their views. I don't know what you have to say about this.
First off, I have to start from the point that killings affect everyone, both Muslims and Christians. Although there might have been targeted killings of Christians, especially when it comes to the Middle Belt area. We're talking of Benue, Kaduna. You're talking of Plateau. Because those areas, some of these areas, like in southern Kaduna, are mostly dominated by Christians and all of that. So, but looking at the whole picture, I want to say this. We should not try and divide the killings. And I don't want us to look at it that Christians are more important than Muslims, or Muslims are more important than Christians. We should look at it from the point of view that killings are ongoing in Nigeria. And anytime we're on this show, we always speak about the killings, how bandits will go and clear a community and destroy lives and property. So the killings is not a religious kind of thing. But now what we also prove is that the leaders, especially northern elders and northern leaders too, they've been complicit in a way. Because sometimes I look, what are you doing? The leaders in the north, whether it has to do with Benue, whether it has to do with Kaduna, whether the governors there, we were talking about the time when the governor said everybody should for himself. And I said Niger State governor. And I tried to say, okay, maybe he's not the chief security officer. But if you look at it, some of these people, they will go to a place, kill a lot of people. You won't hear any outcry from maybe it's as if everybody is okay with it. Why are we hearing outcry now? Because the US president has spoken and he's saying that if we don't the US president did not even say that he will attack Nigeria. He said if has to do with probability. If the security situation is not tackled, he said he will bring his soldiers here. And people are complaining that Nigeria is a sovereign state where when your leaders don't care about you, people will have to run out there. How many are there not? The people that say that Nigeria is a sovereign state, give them visa to USA now. They will go. They will go immediately. They are tired. I'm not saying that the US should come and this is a call on our leaders. Our leaders need to solve Nigeria. The killings are too much. They need to solve the issue. If not because of US president saying this thing now, nobody will raise a finger to do anything. But now we are all running helter-skelter. Some people are saying it's for they want to come and steal our resources. The resources that you have, what has it benefited you? Has it benefited us in any way? We are still talking of doctors going on strike. We are still talking of education being bad. So the resources that you say they are coming to steal, have they used it to better your life? Have they used it to better Nigeria's life? So because the US president just gave two statements, and now we are running helter-skelter. We have politicized it. Northerners are saying no, there is no genocide. Christians are saying yes, there is genocide. Instead of us to come as unified entity and say, look, killings are ongoing. How do we tackle and solve these killings? Whether they be Muslims or Christians. I'm a Christian, but I know there are Muslims that are being killed. When I hear Zamfara, Katsina, I know there are Muslims being killed. But we need to call our leaders and let them know, especially leaders of the North. I will always say it. You need to stand up and challenge this band. You can't be having, and because these bandits come up from your people, you need to see because are you not tired of these killings? Are you not tired? You need to find a way to solve it, and not just casting blame and saying, oh, there's no genocide in this thing, they are killing everybody. It's like some people are even happy to be making that statement, oh, it's Muslims and Christians that are being killed. You know, why I'm passionate about this is because I'm passionate about human lives. When it comes to, especially when it comes to Nigerian lives, you can't be having people, bandits, you are negotiating with bandits, people cannot travel on the road again because you have, and let me tell you, rather than making, let me tell you one way we can solve this issue so that it will not just be that we are making noise. Number one, movement of cattle up and down, this cattle, it should stop. They should build ranches for them, let them stay. Nobody should be allowed to move cattle up and down and be saying you are doing. I mean, we are living in the 21st century. This is 2025. Why can't you build your cattle? Is it a must that you move around? Those are the issues. These are the issues. And when you meet some persons, they will tell you it's their tradition that they have been grazing roots since 1900. I mean, you are still talking of grazing roots in 2025. So that's one way to solve some of these issues, because some of these issues is herders farmers clashes that makes for communities to be destroyed. Stop that movement of cattle up and down. Ranches should be built, reservoirs. I'll just leave that for now so that I don't take much of our time just talking on one headline.
Okay, I would give a statement from the constitutional lawyer, Professor Sage. He says that he describes that statement of Trump as an act of aggression under the international law, stressing that no foreign power can enter Nigeria without government consent. Now, we know that Nigeria is a sovereign country. Because we've been having so many comments from Trump when it comes to Nigeria. We will do this, we will do that, we will do this. How possible it is it, sorry. And we've also seen the act created by one of the senators outside the country, and he's... How effective is that act in Nigeria? Being that, of course, it's not in our constitution. It's not like it was embedded in. And is it possible for them to actually come in even without the permission of the government?
The truth is that constitutionally, under international law, no country should just invade another country, or you should just come into another country and say, without the permission of that country. But countries go to war. You understand? Russia attacking Ukraine is against international law. Israel saying they want to do some of the things they've done against the Palestinians is against international law. Like I always say, for example, now, it's against international law, definitely. You understand? But a situation will come, and I always say this, law is man-made. You understand? It's not, law didn't make man. It's man that made law. At some point, some people will negate the laws of your country and say, especially when it has to do with their... For example, I believe the US has interest in Nigeria. That's why maybe interest in our mineral resources. It could be anything. Because the US won't just... there are killings everywhere as well. The US won't just wake up one day and say they want to start talking about Nigeria. They must have heard some things about Nigeria that they are interested in, and they want to come do that. Yes. So international law, yes, they'll be breaking international law by doing this. But the truth is, can we stand against USA? Nigeria, can we stand? Is our army, if USA says they want to bomb...
Are you saying that this can cause a riot?
In Nigeria, like between us and USA, or this thing. The thing is, if there's to be war between Nigeria and USA, there's no this thing. So we are saying USA should not get involved in our this thing, but when you want to borrow money, you run to them. You understand? If I'm borrowing, the thing is, see, you have, before you can stand in the international sphere and talk, you must... Can USA threaten China to invade China? They can't. USA cannot threaten some countries. Can USA just threaten Russia? No. There are some European countries USA cannot just threaten. You understand? They can threaten you with maybe tariffs and all of that. You too, you do your... But Nigeria, as it stands, we are too weak. We are weak in the international community. We are weak domestically. We are weak. We are not even united, even domestically. How do you want to stand against USA? If USA, God forbid, and I know they won't do that. Trump is a person that he makes a lot of rhetoric, and people must understand Trump. It can be very hyperbolic at times. Throws a lot of hyperbole and does a lot of this thing. That doesn't mean he will attack. But let's say, God forbid, B-2 bombers, USA, they fly their bombers and they start bombing Nigeria. Who will stand again? Do we have armed forces? Do we have this thing, defense systems that can shoot down their planes. No, they will do what they want to do and go. How many times have USA come to rescue their citizens from Nigeria? Not too long ago, they rescued one of their missionaries from Nigeria. Nigerian government didn't even know until they announced it from USA part. So the truth is, it's against international law. But if USA does it, who will stand against them? Can you stand against them in the UN? You don't have that power. So let's sort out our issues. That's what I'm saying. Sort out your issues. Deal with this insecurity. Not just insecurity, no, insecurity across all of Nigeria. Those that are complicit, let them be dealt with. You understand? Once you deal with this situation, look at what is if you read what he said now disgraced nation. He called Nigeria a disgraced nation. And when I looked at it, I was very sad because it's the truth. In the international community, we are nowhere to be found. Nigeria is people. When I saw our vice president speaking in the UN General Assembly, nobody was listening to him. You understand? Everybody was eventually empty. We need to get leadership right in this country. Once leadership is right, I mean, we are talking about persons of interest not too long ago, and Nigerians are brilliant, innovative people. You need to look at all when we go outside there, US, UK. We are trailblazers. We do a lot of good things. You understand? But because of the innate leadership that we have across all sectors, that's why we are seeing them embarrassing us like this, talking about us as disgraced nation. I mean, this is what we should look at. So, yeah.
But we're hoping that the security in Nigeria would be improved because, of course, we have new service chiefs, and we are expecting that they will do a lot. And to whom much is given, of course, much is expected. The next newspaper front page we're diving into is the Daily Trust newspaper, where we see that OPE celebrates scholarship impact, unveils cyber labs at Empowering Future 2025. We also see the big headline, Nigerian denounce U.S. invasion threat, and beneath it we see that the Mago fractions plans PDP hectares take over today, and we also see the vacuum looms at NERC as chair confirmation stalls, and worry Itekpe train derails. We also see that Anambra governorship policy deploys helicopters and drones, and patients stranded discharged as resident doctors go on strike. We see now that OPE, the fintech giant, has celebrated its first anniversary of its 10 years, 1.2 billion scholarship program, reaffirming its commitment to supporting education and technology in Nigeria. The initiative, launched in 2024, has already disbursed 126 million naira in scholarships to 420 students across 20 universities, marking a major milestone in the company's long-term investment in youth empowerment. At the Empowering Futures 2025 conference, OPE also unveiled its new Cyber Labs project, beginning with the University of Calabar. The project aims to upgrade university technology facilities and provide hands-on digital training led by the OPE top tech professionals. This move will make the company bridge gap between classroom learning and real-world innovation, equipping students with the skills to strive in digital economy. This is a beautiful one from OPE. We've been seeing a lot from OPE, right from the year 2024 even to this year. We've been seeing a lot of scholarship, and not just scholarship, improvements. This is what our president's wife said, not just taking from your country, learn to give back to your country. Yes,
yeah, so it's a good one from OPE. I think not too long ago we celebrated OPE too. You know, they are doing a lot, introducing medical labs, you know, in their celebrations and all of that. This is what we want to see tech companies doing. You get OPE, other tech companies, other fintech companies as well that have been running, maybe doing business in Nigeria, making a lot of profits, you know, giving back, helping to innovate, helping to gather young ones, either elderly people as well, you know, how you can benefit the economy, you know, by virtue of this, what they are doing, you know, empowering the youths and all of that. So we want to see that being done more often, you know, from other tech companies as well. not just tech companies, even though they are not tech companies, maybe they can maybe put it as their community service to Nigerians, see how we can empower enough of youth in the country so that we won't be hearing of youth having been underemployed or being unemployed. They are being able to use their brain or what they've learned from some of these activities here to put it to good use. So it's a good one. Celebrate them. Hopefully they continue on this trajectory and they don't stop. Nothing stops them. We don't see one day that maybe one policy or somewhere has made them to lose their business or make them to stop what they are doing.
Okay, moving to the Daily Sun newspaper front page, we see that Igbo group in US faults Kano's continued trial in page 27, and the OPA celebrating scholarship impact. We also see on that front page, we see that PDP plots survival strategy. Governors BOT consider caretaker committee options and intensify efforts to resolve crisis in page 5. Also rejects federal government proposed 35% salary increase for universities lecturers, and we also see that raising cost to weak demand squeezes Nigeria's brewers, and we see that joining ABC in Bayelsa interests Governor Diri in page 8, and Zenith Bank posts 917.4 billion naira profits before tax earning hits 3.37 trillion naira. Now we'll be diving into the news of the PDP plots strategy. I want you to drop a comment on it.
Well, they need to actually begin planning their strategy for the 2027 general elections. I mean, we are talking of in the next couple of months now, because 2026 is by the corner. Electioneering will start. People will start campaigning, and the PDP for now they've not put their house in order. They've not sorted out their mess. They still seem like a party that is not ready to take power. Atiku Abubakar has left the party. We don't know who their presidential candidates will be. Most of their governors some of their governors left them for APC. Kudos to those that have still stayed in the PDP. I heard the Zamfara state governor not too long ago. He was talking of how they are still strong. It doesn't matter what the other opposition parties are doing. But the reality on ground is that the PDP is not as strong as it used to be, or as it was even in 2023. They've lost a lot of big whips. They don't know who their national secretary is. They are still struggling to fill up some of these positions. So they need to sit down, get their house in order, and get all these things sorted before the 2027 election, so that they will even if they don't win, at least they will be able to put a strong opposition to both the APC and the ADC or the Labour Party. So that they will not just be seeing the coronation of the new president. I want to see politics that has to do with challenge. I want to see opposition really fight out the governing party. But that is the beauty of democracy, being able to challenge people's thoughts and people's ideas. So that's just let them put their house in order. Hopefully they do that before the 2027 elections, and all is sorted out.
Okay, we also see that a group of Igbo businessmen in the United States under the banner of Njoko Amaka has appealed for the former president candidate Atiku Abubakar and Oyele Sowore to exercise restraint in their support for the planned Free Nnamdi Kanu Now protest that happened during that period of time. I want you to make a statement on this protest and how it has actually will I say graduated to a lot of things, because from protest, from putting him, trying to remove him and all of that. I want you to give us a breakdown from the beginning to the end. Okay,
so there have been issues of Nnamdi Kanu has been granted bail so many times, but the government has refused to release him, and which is, if we are talking about the law, it's very unconstitutional, it's bad. It shows that they don't have regard for the laws of the land. So there have been a lot of calls to the President Tinubu, that he should do the needful and release him, but the President has also looked at it that based on because of national security and all of that they won't be able to release him, and based on the statements that he made in the past, and Nigeria really did a lot of work to get Nnamdi Kanu arrested. I mean, a lot of espionage and all of that to get him arrested. So they put in a lot of work. So to release him now, the government is now looking at it that if we release this man, it might, after all our hard work, then again, it might bring more insecurity to the southeast. But the truth of the matter is that because of what the court has declared, you have to obey the ruling of the court. You have to obey the ruling of the court. The court says that you've not given us enough evidence for his bail not to be granted him, for him not to be granted bail. You have to do so. You have to release him. And that's the truth of the matter. And hopefully this doesn't spiral. You know, we're in a situation whereby our unity is being tested. For the next 2 to 3 years now, we'll see, I mean, the Southeasterners, they are beginning to worry. We have in the North now, we haven't gone into religious grounds where we are talking about Muslims and Christians. You get talking about Igbo businessmen over there in the US. They are saying they should release him. So you begin to see emotions and sentiments are now beginning to speak even louder than logic. You understand? So because he's an Igbo man, Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo man, and people begin to say, is it because he's an Igbo? That's why, you know, these kind of sentiments and emotions are now being pushed onto the national scene, and they are very bad. They are very bad. They are very, very bad for our continuity as a nation, Nigeria. So the government needs to find a way to resolve these issues. And so far, so good. Our leaders, even though they've been trying their best, they've fallen short of that. And some of these are some of the issues that will also test us. The Igbos want him released, but you see there are some quarters, there are some people in some other corridors of the country that don't want him to be released. They feel like you are hurting them. So if they release him, you will hurt a section of the country. His continued detention there is hurting a side of the country. So you see, these are the kind of critical issues where you need to also be careful as to how you. Of course, Atiku Abubakar said he should be released. Other prominent politicians have also said that he should be released and all of that. My own is that since the court has pronounced that he should be granted bail, he should be granted bail. And bail doesn't mean his trial will not continue. Bail just means that as his trial is going on, let him be given, let him not be coming from the custody of the DSS or from wherever he is. He can become on his own to the court and continue his trial. So that's my take on this.
Okay. We're going on a short break. When we come back, we'll be diving into other headlines as well as our tech news. Do stay with us.
Enhancing cybersecurity. As cyber attacks grow more sophisticated, cybersecurity technologies are evolving to defend against them. AI-driven threat detection systems, zero-trust architectures, and advanced encryption methods are becoming the new norm. However, keeping up with rapidly evolving threats is a challenge, especially for industries that handle sensitive data like finance and healthcare. The cybersecurity market is expected to reach $248.26 billion by 2024. But the constant need for innovation and adaptation means businesses need to stay vigilant. Continuous Threat Exposure Countermeasure, CTEM. CTEM tools enable organizations to continuously monitor and address vulnerabilities in real time. This proactive approach helps businesses stay ahead of cyber threats and comply with security standards. While CTEM systems are improving cybersecurity, managing them can be resource-intensive. Sectors like finance, healthcare, and government are adopting these tools to protect sensitive data.
Welcome back if you're just joining us. This is your newspaper review on Idea Television. I am Jacob Deborah and I have been with Barrister Tilo. We've been talking about so many headlines and now we'll be diving into the next newspaper front page, which is The Guardian newspaper. We see that Trump warning unsettles Nigeria raises concerns over religious sovereignty in page 6, and how DSS aborted Utimi's abbreviation shadow cabinet through legal process in page 22. And NRC trains derail 189 times 3 days after resumption. We also see that resident doctors, federal government clashes over 48 billion naira arrears as strike paralyzes hospitals nationwide. And NUJ, the crisis surge in attack immunity against journalists in page 30. Now we'll be diving into our tech news. And the first tech news we have on our list is that Trump bans export of NVIDIA top AI chips and says only US firms will have its access. We see that the US President Donald Trump has declared that NVIDIA most advanced artificial intelligence chips, known as the Blackwell series, will be reserved exclusively for Americans companies cutting off across China and other nations. In the CBS 60 Minutes interview, Trump said that the US will not allow anybody else to have the top-end chips, emphasizing that there is a need to protect Americans' technology edge with the move to signal tighter export restrictions and advance amid growing tension with China. We see that the decision follows the report that NVIDIA plans to supply over 260,000 Blackwell AI chips to South Korea, raising questions about how far the new restrictions will extend. Trump hinted that while the less powerful versions might still reach China, the most advanced models must still remain in US alone. Trump has been doing a lot. I think we've been talking about it, Trump and China, US and China. When it comes to the both of them, I think, I don't want to say it's out of fear. But I want to ask you, how do you think this would actually affect the business between, of course, US and China? Because we know that these two people have been doing businesses when it comes to NVIDIA and other tech agencies. And also, how is it a good decision restricting the better chips and giving the lesser ones to the companies, the AI companies in China?
Every country wants to protect its best. Every country wants to have the best. Like I said, or we've been saying in this program that both the US and China, they've been in this competition or this battle over AI supremacy. Tech supremacy, and in the world that we are moving into now, it's the person that has the AI that wins this battle or wins this war as to AI supremacy that will be the better for it in terms of development, in terms of advancement in maybe military tech, economic wise, and all of that. The truth of the matter is that the USA will seek to, especially a president like Donald Trump that believes in protectionism, protecting what we have. He will always want to protect his best. NVIDIA, you can do business with China, especially when it comes to maybe low-grade chips or chips that are not really advanced as the ones that you will be keeping for us. USA definitely wants to have the best. And since we are producing the best, why should I give you the best? Or even if you have the money, no matter the kind of money you want to give me, I will keep the best, because I don't want you at the end of the day to win me or to use what I've given you to fight against me. So it's just simple logic that USA will want to keep its best. If Nigeria was that kind of country that produces the best of technologies as well, we won't allow some countries to also have the best that we have, so that we too we can also compete well, we can also compete better. So the president of USA now telling NVIDIA, the company, that look, you have to keep the best for us. It's not out of place. It's the normal thing that every country does. China too, they are the best chip making company in China. We definitely not sell it to the US as well, because there is the competition. Even if you are a friendly nation, the USA will most likely not give it to you. Even if you are a country that is not in battle or a competition with the US, they won't give it to you. I won't give you my best. It's for me. Let me keep it. I can give you all other parts of it, but the one that I feel is the best or the better versions of this technology will be for me. So that would be my take on it.
But don't you think this would actually cause an issue between will I say the tech companies in USA and the tech companies in China? Knowing that there are some restrictions not coming from, of course, the tech companies themselves, but from the governments themselves over these particular tech companies where they are residing. And don't you think this will actually restrict the advancement of their business? If I'm a tech company and I want to sell a particular chip, of course it's business, and because of my governmental rules, I cannot do that because of some policies that were made by my president, and I want to actually sell this particular chip. Don't you think that will restrict some business?
Yes, and it should. Every businessman, every company should know that it should. The truth of the matter is that NVIDIA, most of the Microsoft, they all know this. They are Americans. You are an American citizen. you work for the American government. You understand? So you cannot be selling, you cannot produce something I want to sell to my enemy. Or even if it's my friend, you never can tell. My friend can even use it against me. So those businesses know. That's why you will see when it comes to, let's even talk about the airplanes. Boeing cannot sell, Boeing, that the company that produces B-2 bombers, cannot, B-52 bombers, rather, cannot sell those bombers to planes, rather, to, what do they call it, to China. Because they know these things. It's not that the company are unaware. If Tom telling NVIDIA this, they know. The best of chips, you cannot sell it to China. It's simple. Even though your business, you say it will be better for business and all of that, the government still has a say. After all, it's my citizens that are working for you. You understand? So the government still has a say. You understand? So national security or national preservation comes before money making for most of these countries. They are not saying you should not sell other chips. You sell other chips. But when it comes to foreign policy, this thing, the best of the best, you reserve it for us here in our country. Let us use it for only Americans. This one is for only Americans. And that's how it goes. Internationally, that is how it always has been, and it will always continue to be.
Okay, diving into our next tech news, we see that mimicking the human brain could make AI smarter and more sustainable. I want you to drop a comment before I read. How true is that statement? That
mimicking the... First off, it's... Okay, the time that they use the word mimicking, that adjective mimicking, I don't think there's any technology that can beat the human brain as to what it does. You see, the thing is, robots, there was this thing I watched one time where the technology, AI, a robot or something was playing chess with human beings, and it was winning the human beings and all of that. But when it comes to creation, God's creation, nothing beats the human brain. It can only mimic, it can only copy, but at the end of the day, these people are still robots, And again, robot is garbage in, garbage out. That's the best human beings will be able to do. You see, the thing, what has to do with emotions, all those, the human mind, this is made up of spirit, soul, body. That's what we are being told. The soul has that emotional aspect of the human mind, that a lot of that critical thinking of the human mind. I don't think technology will reach that far. That's my own belief. Of course, there are many scientists that will tell you that that's not true. That we can beat that, we can do that. So they should try. It's a good one. It's a good technology. They should try and give us something that can mimic, as long as. But I don't think there's anything that can reach that standard of the human brain. After all, it's still humans that will be creating. When robots start producing themselves, we start entering labs, and we can say they are getting there. Yeah, but for now, let them just continue with the mimicking. The
full story of that particular technique. You see that researchers at the University of Surrey have unveiled a breakthrough in artificial intelligence inspired by the human brain. The new approach, called telegraphical sphere mapping, mimics how biological neurons connect only with nearby or related cells. A method that makes AI systems more efficient and less energy hungry. According to the findings, publishers in the Neurocomputing, this brain-like design improves performance in generating AI models such as ChatGPT, while drastically reducing the amount of power needed to train them. Lead researcher Dr. Roman says that the innovation could help tackle the huge energy cost of training large AI models, which can consume over 1 million kilowatt hours of electricity. A more advanced version enhanced telegraphic spheres mapping even emits brain natural pouring process, cutting unnecessary connections and learning progress. Now, this is it, like you said, this is actually a very good one. But in all of these things, we keep mentioning the fact that this particular, bots or this particular innovations will do with people's data. They have to do with data. Of course, you have to impute. But if you're having a bot in your company to actually help you do some tasks, you would have to impute some of the company's data that concerns that particular task for that bot to actually carry out those tasks effectively. And we've been trying to curb the issue of data privacy and data, will I say, going out on the web and people being able to hack those data. Now, with this kind of creation, knowing that now they can do something similar to what the human's brain can do, I have two questions. Will our data still be safe? That's one. Secondly, the idea of bots taking over or taking away the jobs of human beings, knowing that these bots now would almost think or mimically think like human beings. Now they're going beyond just tax giving, but also thinking and trying to recreate, just like the way human beings actually have the idea, because we're always seeking about creativity. And here comes all of that. But how do you think that will work in the issue of taking our jobs and in the issue of data releasing outside?
So as to data privacy, first off, like I always say, when it comes to data privacy, human beings are first points of call. We need to also be careful. Institutions and also these tech companies, institutions, that is governmental institutions, need to be the one that will provide restrictions or sanctions to these companies if they go against the data privacy laws. You get. Also, human beings, we need to be careful what we give these guys, to these robots or these AI companies to have access to. They will always have what do they call it? They will always ask questions. For example, when you want to use, should I have access to this? Should I do? You will be the one to give them permission to do so. So it's better that you don't provide unnecessary or information that is very personal to you out there to this robot. So, and also once the information that these robots gather, we have to have strong institutions that ensures that they don't pass it on to the wrong hands or the wrong people. So these are the ways we can provide to solve this issue. Then as to robots taking jobs of people, definitely robots will definitely take a lot of jobs from people. So it's just for us to see how we can adapt to this new development.
Okay, thank you very much, all our viewers, for staying glued to your screen all through the newspaper review. We've come to an end. But before we draw the curtain, I want to urge you to follow us on all our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. And also, a big thank you to Barrister, aka Dildo, for coming on the show with us again. And to all our viewers, thank you very much. Do well to stay glued according, because we'll be bringing you more innovative programs after now. The Idea Morning Digest will be coming. And like I would always say, it is very important for you to stay informed and stay safe. Bye for now.